Ethan Ward had never imagined he would find himself lying on an alien examination table, staring at a ceiling that shimmered with soft, shifting lights. The human Alari medical outpost orbited a quiet blue planet at the edge of the Terran Federation. Everything about it was calm, precise, and clean. Much like the doctor who tended to him, Dr. Leia, Rhea was an Ilari, species known for their intelligence, longevity, and calm demeanor. She had smooth, silver-tinted skin that reflected the soft glow of the room, eyes like pools of liquid gold, and movements so graceful that it seemed she never wasted energy. Her reputation as the station's most skilled medical officer was well-earned. She rarely raised her voice, rarely made mistakes, and always carried herself with a serenity that reassured every patient. Ethan, on the other hand, was a young engineer with a stubborn streak. His left arm was in a sling after a minor accident repairing a plasma conduit. And while it wasn't life-threatening, the pain and inconvenience had brought him to Dr. Leary's attention. He didn't mind her careful, precise manner. He trusted her completely, but today something felt off. "Ethan, please lie still while I examine the arm," Dr. Leary said, her voice soft but firm. She reached for a scanning device. One of the small instruments floating in zero gravity near the table. Ethan watched as she moved, but noticed her hands trembled slightly. It was so subtle he almost missed it, but he felt a twinge of worry. He had never seen Dr. Leray unsteady before. "Is everything okay, doctor?" he asked, trying to sound casual. Her golden eyes flicked to him briefly. I am fine. The readings will speak for themselves." But as the scanner passed over his arm, Ethan realized the lights in the room seemed to dim slightly. Dr. Laray's expression shifted, her usual calm replaced by something unusual in alertness that made her seem almost tense. She moved quickly to adjust the scanner, then paused, looking out the viewport at the stars beyond. Ethan frowned. You look distracted. Something wrong?" Dr. Larisse's lips pressed together. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she activated the outpost's AI interface, a soft hum filling the room. AI reviewed Dr. Laray's physiological readings for anomalies. The AI's voice, calm and neutral, responded, "Review complete. Anomalies detected. Dr. Laray exhibits early-stage onset of seasonal neurochemical fluctuations consistent with Ilari mating cycle. Emotional instability and physical restlessness probable." Ethan's jaw dropped. "Mating cycle? What does that mean?" Dr. Laray's ears, a delicate ridge along her head, flicked nervously. "It means my species experiences a strong biological cycle, one that affects my behavior, my judgment, and my physical state. It is a private matter." Ethan swallowed hard. He had expected aliens to be strange, but not this strange. And yet, he couldn't ignore the signs. Her hands still trembled. Her eyes darted toward the ceiling panels, and she was breathing slightly faster than normal. "Do you need help?" he asked carefully. Dr. Laray's gaze softened, a flicker of vulnerability crossing her usually composed features. "Perhaps. Yes. But you must understand, I am used to controlling these effects. Normally I would manage them alone. I am struggling more than usual this cycle." Ethan nodded, though he had no idea what he was agreeing to. "Tell me what to do." She hesitated, then spoke quietly. "Stay with me. Do not leave the medical bay. Assist only if necessary. My body may react unpredictably." Ethan felt a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Unpredictably how? She shook her head. "It is not something humans can easily understand. My emotional and physical responses are intensified. I may act irrationally or with sudden bursts of energy. Remain calm. Do not panic. Help if I ask." He nodded again. It sounded simple enough, though the weight of responsibility pressed on him more heavily than he expected. Over the next few hours, Ethan observed Dr. Leray as she moved around the medical bay. She floated from one instrument to another, recalibrating sensors and adjusting the lighting, but something in her behavior was off. She winced as if feeling discomfort in places Ethan couldn't see. Occasionally, she would pause mid-motion, her eyes closing briefly, a faint hum escaping her lips as if she were trying to control herself at one point. She drifted close to him, examining his arm without touching it. Her golden eyes lingered, scanning not just for physical injury, but for something else. Ethan's stomach twisted with uncertainty. "Doctor," he asked gently, "do you want me to leave the room?" She shook her head. "No, you are necessary. I cannot complete the stabilization process alone." The word stabilization made Ethan's chest tighten. Stabilization. Are you in danger? Dr. Lyra's ears twitched. If untreated, the cycle may escalate, causing physical exhaustion and emotional instability. I may become unconscious or lose control of my impulses. Ethan blinked. Unconscious. Lose control? He had never thought of his calm, composed doctor as someone who could be in danger herself. Before he could respond, she winced sharply and leaned against a wall panel for support. Her breathing quickened, and her skin shimmered with a faint golden hue. Ethan rushed to her side. "Doctor, are you okay?" I require assistance," she admitted, her voice strained. "The cycle is progressing faster than anticipated." Ethan's mind raced. Okay. Tell me what to do." She handed him a small device, its surface covered in alien symbols. "This is a neurochemical stabilizer. It must be applied carefully. Follow the instructions precisely." Ethan studied the device. It looked complicated, but Dr. Lyray's calm instruction overrode his panic. He followed her guidance, pressing buttons, adjusting dials, and floating beside her as she monitored the readings. Minutes passed. The tension in the room grew palpable. Dr. Lyray's body trembled slightly, and at one point, she gasped and closed her eyes, trying to regain control. Ethan could feel her anxiety, not just from her words, but from her presence. It was a strange, almost electric connection, and he realized how vulnerable she truly was. Finally, a series of lights on the device blinked green. Dr. Lyray exhaled deeply. Her trembling lessened, and her golden eyes slowly returned to their usual calm. "Did well," she said softly, a small smile forming on her lips. "Humans are stronger than I imagined." Ethan chuckled nervously. "I just followed your instructions." "No," she replied, her gaze steady. "You stayed. You remained calm. That is what matters." Ethan felt a flush of pride, mixed with relief. He had never expected to earn praise from Dr. Lyray, much less in such a strange situation. The AI chimed in, its neutral tone cutting through the quiet. "Cycle stabilization successful. Further monitoring recommended. Patient, Dr. Lyray. Condition, stable, minor fluctuations remaining." Dr. Lyray nodded. "Yes, minor fluctuations. I will need additional time to fully recover. Your presence aided me more than you realize." Ethan floated back, trying to process everything that had happened. This was unlike any human medical experience he had ever had. He had expected alien technology, alien biology, but never. He realized that humans were not just visitors in space, they were capable of compassion, bravery, and resilience even in the most unpredictable circumstances. As the stars outside the viewport glimmered, Ethan looked at Dr. Lyray, who now moved with her usual elegance, but still carried a subtle tension. She was no longer entirely herself, yet she had survived, thanks to him. And in that moment, he understood something profound. Being human meant facing the unknown with courage. Even when it seemed impossible, Dr. Lyray floated closer, her golden eyes meeting his. "Prepare yourself, Ethan. The cycle is not yet complete. There may be further challenges." Ethan swallowed, his heart racing, but he nodded. "I'll stay. We'll get through it together." For the first time, he felt the weight of human capability in the galaxy, the strength to stand by someone, even in their most alien and unpredictable moments. And somewhere deep inside, he knew that this was only the beginning. The quiet hum of the medical bay settled around them. Outside, the stars continued their endless dance, indifferent to the struggles inside the outpost. But within that small space, human and an alien faced something extraordinary together, a challenge that would test patience, courage, and the unspoken bonds of trust. Ethan didn't know what the next hours would bring, but he was ready. After all, he was human. And humans, they didn't give up easily. The hum of the outpost's systems had barely settled when a low vibration passed through the floor panels. Ethan felt it beneath his feet and glanced toward Dr. LeRae. She was standing near the central console, her movements hesitant and slightly jerky. The earlier stabilization had calmed her, but it was clear she was still far from normal. Dr. Ethan said softly, "Are you feeling okay?" Dr. LeRae's golden eyes flicked to him. There was a faint sheen of sweat along her brow. "I am stable for now, but the cycle, it is unpredictable. My body may respond suddenly, without warning." Ethan's heart raced. He had already assisted her once, and the thought of doing so again, while unsure of what could happen, made his stomach tighten. Yet he knew he couldn't leave her alone. She was counting on him. The AI's voice interrupted their silent tension. "Warning. Secondary neurochemical surge detected in Dr. LeRae. Elevated energy levels and emotional fluctuations expected. Probability of involuntary action." "Hi." Dr. LeRae's ears twitched, a subtle but unmistakable sign of alarm. "I had hoped the initial stabilization would be sufficient. Clearly, it is not." Ethan floated closer, keeping his tone calm. "Then we handle it again. You don't have to do this alone." Her eyes softened, and she nodded slightly. "Thank you, Ethan. The procedure is more complex this time. I will guide you, but I must warn you, my reactions may be tense. If I lose control, do not be afraid, but stay alert." Ethan swallowed. Intense reactions. He had no idea what that would mean in practical terms, but he nodded, determination replacing fear. The first sign came suddenly. Dr. LeRae stiffened mid-motion, her eyes widening as a sharp wave of energy passed through her. She clutched the nearest console to steady herself, and a low hum emitted from her body, resonating through the room. Ethan reached out instinctively. "Easy. I've got you," he said. He remembered the steps she had taught him with the stabilizer. Carefully, he activated the device. Watching the readings on the console as they flickered with rapid fluctuations. "Good," Dr. LeRae whispered, her voice strained. "You must continue. Adjust the neurochemical dampening. Slowly. Too fast could overwhelm my system." Ethan's fingers moved carefully, pressing the controls, monitoring the readouts. The stabilizer emitted a soft glow, pulsing in rhythm with her erratic energy. Every time he adjusted it, she trembled slightly, her body responding as if every cell were alive with electric tension. Minutes stretched on. The room seemed smaller somehow, filled with the soft hiss of the stabilizer and the quiet whir of the station systems. Ethan felt his own pulse quicken as he realized how fragile Dr. LeRae's balance was. One mistake, one wrong adjustment, and the entire procedure could fail. "Steady," whispered, more to himself than to her. "We can do this. We'll get through it." LeRae's eyes, golden and intense, met his. There was trust. There an unspoken acknowledgement of the risk he was taking. Ethan felt a strange warmth, a sense of pride mixed with fear. He was human, far weaker in strength and lifespan than the Aileri. Yet here he was, assisting one of the galaxy's most intelligent beings in a crisis that no human could fully comprehend. Suddenly, a surge of energy shot through Dr. LeRae. She gasped sharply, and her body floated uncontrollably for a moment before Ethan steadied her with a gentle hold. The stabilizer beeped urgently. "Adjust the intensity," she urged, her voice barely audible above the humming energy. Ethan moved quickly, remembering the instructions. He increased the damping field gradually. Watching the console as the readings began to stabilize, ever so slightly, Dr. LeRae's body stopped thrashing.
Ow.
She let out a shaky breath, eyes closing for a moment, gathering her strength. "You are doing well," she said, voice quiet, almost breathless. More adjustments I am. Nearly at peak fluctuation. Focus, steady hands, precise movements." Ethan nodded, trying to ignore the rising tension in his own chest. Each flicker of the lights, each pulse of energy from her body, sent waves of uncertainty through him. But he stayed, following her guidance, adjusting the stabilizer with deliberate care. As the minutes passed, Dr. Lee Ray's body began to respond. The golden shimmer in her skin faded slightly. Her breathing became more controlled, and the trembling lessened. Ethan let out a silent sigh of relief. "You are remarkable," she said softly, opening her eyes to meet his. "A human. Assisting an Alari during a full surge? I did not think it possible," Ethan shrugged, floating slightly backward to give her space. "I just stayed calm and did what you said." "No," she corrected, her voice firmer now. "You stayed present. You did not abandon me when I was at my weakest. That is remarkable." A soft beep from the stabilizer alerted them both. Ethan checked the readings. The surge had passed its peak. Dr. LeRay's system was stabilizing, though minor fluctuations remained. "Excellent," she said, her voice regaining its usual calm. "We are nearly through this phase. Continue monitoring me until the cycle completes." Ethan nodded, relief mixing with exhaustion. He had never imagined himself in such a situation human, yet playing a vital role in alien biology, saving a life in a way no human had before. As the hours passed, Ethan followed Dr. LeRay's instructions carefully. He floated beside her, adjusting controls, monitoring readouts, and ensuring the stabilizer maintained its delicate balance. He observed her closely, the subtle flick of her ears, the faint shimmer of her skin, the way her breathing shifted with every minor adjustment. Occasionally, she would pause, closing her eyes and murmuring softly as she regained composure. Each time, Ethan would stay calm, offering a steady presence without intrusion. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the crisis began to ease. By late cycle, Dr. LeRay's body had regained nearly full control. Her movements were smooth, graceful once more, though still tinged with fatigue. She floated toward Ethan, her golden eyes reflecting quiet admiration. "You have exceeded my expectations," she said softly. "Your actions today demonstrate qualities I did not think humans possessed. Loyalty, courage, patience. Remarkable." Ethan felt a blush rise to his cheeks. "I just stayed." "No," she replied, her voice gentle but firm. "You remained present. That is far more important than following instructions. You acted with understanding, without hesitation. That is what saved me." The AI chimed again. Dr. Lee Ray's condition stabilized. Minor fluctuations detected. Full recovery expected within standard cycle duration. Dr. Lee Ray exhaled, letting herself float near the viewport. She gazed at the stars, her expression thoughtful. "I have underestimated the value of human presence in critical situations. Your species is far more resilient than my people anticipated." Ethan floated beside her, watching the light of distant suns shimmer across the room. "I guess humans do surprises sometimes," he said with a small grin. She looked at him, a faint smile touching her lips. "Indeed, you have earned my respect, and the respect of any Ilari observing this event. Today, humans have proven themselves capable of standing beside us seven in circumstances that defy understanding." For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of human potential in the galaxy. They were small, fragile, short-lived, compared to species like the Ilari. Yet they possessed a courage and adaptability that defied expectation. Here, in a tiny medical bay on the edge of known space, a human had faced one of the galaxy's most alien challenges, and had not faltered. As Dr. LeRay began the final phase of recovery, her systems gradually returning to baseline, Ethan realized something important. Being human wasn't about strength or intelligence alone. It was about perseverance, loyalty, and the willingness to face the unknown. The quiet hum of the outpost enveloped them, a steady reminder that the galaxy continued its vast, indifferent orbit. Yet within this small room, something extraordinary had occurred. Trust had been built, bonds strengthened, and a human had demonstrated a capability that would echo in Ilari records for years to come. Ethan looked at Dr. LeRay, now fully stabilized, and felt a sense of pride mixed with awe. The crisis was not fully over. The cycle could still flare unexpectedly, but for now, they had survived together. And in that survival, they had proven something even more important: that humans, though often underestimated, could rise to challenges that no one thought they could face. Dr. Leray finally spoke, her voice calm and steady. "Ethan, you have been invaluable. We'll prepare for future cycles with greater understanding thanks to you. And perhaps I will no longer underestimate the humans who work alongside us." Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth of satisfaction. "I'll stay, Doctor. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." The stars outside glimmered, and for a moment, the universe seemed a little smaller, a little more connected. In this tiny outpost at the edge of space, humanity had proven itself once more: adaptable, brave, and capable of extraordinary act, even in the face of the most alien and unpredictable circumstances. The following morning, the medical bay was bathed in soft blue light, signaling the start of another cycle in the outpost's rhythm. Ethan floated beside the viewport, watching the stars twinkle beyond the transparent hall. Dr. Leray moved with careful grace, her body fully stabilized now. Though faint traces of the previous day's turmoil lingered in the subtle tension of her posture. "You've done well, Ethan," she said, her golden eyes fixed on him. "I am fully stable. The cycle has concluded its peak. I owe you more than words can express." Ethan shook his head, floating slightly backward to give her space. "You made it through because we worked together. That's all." Dr. Leray tilted her head, studying him closely. "No, humans often underestimate themselves. I have witnessed today how you adapt, respond, and persist. That is something my species cannot always predict or understand." Ethan smiled faintly, but he felt a quiet pride. For hours, he had faced a challenge no human had faced before, guided only by instructions, observation, and trust. And he had succeeded. Yet it was not just about the technical procedure. He had realized that being human meant presence, courage, and the ability to remain calm even when surrounded by the unknown. The AI chimed in, its neutral tone interrupting their quiet moment. "Incoming communication from Alari Medical Directorate. Subject, Dr. Leray's condition and human assistance report." Dr. Leray floated to the console and opened the incoming message. The holographic display shimmered, revealing the faces of senior Ilari medics. Their expressions a mixture of concern and curiosity. "This is unexpected," she murmured. "They are observing human involvement." Ethan leaned closer, reading over her shoulder. The message detailed her recent cycle, the secondary surge, and the intervention by a human him. The Ilari medics expressed astonishment that a human could remain composed and follow alien medical procedures successfully. "Impossible," one message read. "No human has ever managed stabilization without Ilari oversight." Dr. Leray looked at Ethan, her expression softening. "You have exceeded all expectations. Your presence has proven the resilience of your species. Today, humans have earned a new place of respect in our records." Ethan felt his chest tighten. Recognition from the Ilari was meaningful. But more than that, he realized he had forged a bond with someone far different from himself. A bond of trust, shared struggle, and mutual respect. "You didn't just assist," Dr. Leray continued. "You remained present while I was at my most vulnerable. That is rare in any species. It is what made the difference." Ethan nodded, feeling a quiet humility. "I just stayed. That's all I could do." "No," she replied firmly. "You did far more than stay. You demonstrated qualities that many of my people have never seen in humans: loyalty, bravery, and intelligence under pressure. That is why you were invaluable." As the communication ended, Dr. Leray floated closer, her golden eyes meeting his. "You must understand something, Ethan. Humans are often underestimated across the galaxy. Other species view you as fragile, short-lived, and impulsive. But you have qualities that defy expectation. Today, you have proven them all wrong." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. For the first time, he realized that the galaxy was bigger than he had imagined. And humans, despite their limitations, had the power to stand beside the greatest beings and face impossible situations. "Thank you, Doctor," he said quietly. "That means a lot coming from you." She tilted her head, a soft smile touching her lips. "You deserve it, and I will not forget this. I will prepare differently for future cycles, thanks to your example. You have shown that humans are not just survivors, but allies capable of extraordinary acts." For the next several hours, Ethan and Dr. LeRae worked together on routine maintenance of the medical bay and minor medical checks. The earlier tension had faded, replaced by a quiet companionship and mutual respect. Dr. LeRae was her usual composed self now, but there was a subtle acknowledgement in her gaze, a recognition of his courage and adaptability. Later, Ethan floated near the observation deck, gazing out at the endless expanse of stars. Dr. LeRae joined him, her presence calm but alive with quiet energy. "You've been through much, Ethan," she said. "Yet you remain steadfast. That is the strength of your species. You endure challenges not by force, but by persistence and intelligence." "It is remarkable," Ethan chuckled softly. "I guess humans surprise themselves sometimes." She tilted her head thoughtfully. "Indeed, your species is underestimated. But today, you have altered perceptions, not just mine, but the records of my people. Other Ilari will study this event. They will learn that humans can be trusted, even in the most unpredictable circumstances." Ethan felt a surge of pride. The recognition was not just personal, it was a reflection of humanity itself. Across the galaxy, humans were often viewed as fragile, emotional, or reckless. Yet here, on a distant outpost, he had proven that humans could rise to challenges no one expected them to face. Dr. LeRae floated closer, her voice quieter now. "You've reminded me that strength is not always measured by size, longevity, or instinct. It is measured by the will to remain, the courage to act, and the loyalty to stand beside others, even in their darkest moments." Ethan nodded. "I just did what felt right. I didn't think about being strong. I just stayed with you." "That is precisely what makes humans exceptional," Dr. LeRae replied. "You do not calculate only outcomes, you act with heart. That is why you are capable of extraordinary things." For a long while, they floated in silence, watching the stars. Outside, the galaxy continued its indifferent course. Planets and suns, spinning in their ancient rhythm. Yet within the small outpost, something remarkable had occurred. A human had faced the unexpected, aided an alien species during its most vulnerable state, and proven the depth of his courage and loyalty. Dr. LeRae finally spoke again, her voice calm but with a hint of warmth. "I have learned much from this experience. Not only about managing my cycles, but about humans themselves. You have earned trust that few beings receive in a lifetime. For that, I am grateful." Ethan felt a quiet smile. "And I've learned that even the most alien challenges can be faced with patience, understanding, and a little courage." "Yes," she said softly. "And that is why humans will be respected across the stars. You have demonstrated that even in the most unpredictable circumstances, you do not falter. That is a truth my people will not forget." The day passed slowly, marked by careful observation, minor treatments, and shared quiet moments. Dr. LeRae's systems were fully stabilized, her cycle complete and her energy returning to its usual calm state. Ethan felt a sense of relief and accomplishment. He had stood beside someone extraordinary, facing the unknown with courage, and emerged stronger for it. As evening approached, the two of them floated to the central observation deck once more. The stars glimmered like diamonds scattered across black velvet, and the distant planets glowed softly in the void. "Ethan," Dr. LeRae said, her voice carrying a rare softness, "I must confess something. I feared this cycle more than any before, for it was stronger, unpredictable, and I feared I might lose control. But having you here made all the difference. Your presence was extraordinary. Ethan felt his heart lift. I'm glad I could help. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew I couldn't leave you alone. She studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. That is why humans are remarkable. You act not only out of necessity, but out of loyalty. That is something my species values, but rarely witnesses in those considered weaker. Today, you have rewritten those assumptions. Ethan smiled faintly. He realized that this moment, simple, quiet, yet profound, was more important than any recognition or reward. He had proven the strength of humanity in a universe that often underestimated them. You've changed how I see humans, Dr. Leray continued. Not all of my species can comprehend your resilience, but I do, and I will ensure that others learn of it. Humanity has earned respect not through power, but through courage, loyalty, and presence. You've shown this today? Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling the weight and wonder of the galaxy. He thought of the countless humans scattered across space, facing dangers and unknowns. Today, he had played a small part in showing that. Humans, though fragile and short-lived, possess a spirit capable of extraordinary acts. Dr. Leray floated beside him, her golden eyes reflecting the distant suns. The cycle is over. I am fully recovered, but the lesson remains. Trust, courage, perseverance can triumph even against the most alien and unpredictable challenges. That is what humans have shown me. Ethan nodded quietly. And I've learned that even when things seem impossible, you can face them if you stay calm, stay present, and trust yourself. For the first time, the galaxy seemed less vast and indifferent. Within that small outpost, a human had stood beside an alien in crisis, proving that courage and loyalty could bridge the greatest divides. Humanity had earned its place, not through force or dominance, but through heart, intelligence, and unyielding presence. Dr. Leray's voice, calm and steady, broke the silence. Prepare for future cycles, Ethan, but know this: you have earned my trust. And more importantly, you have shown that humanity is capable of greatness beyond expectation. That is a triumph worthy of note across the stars.
Nice.
Ethan smiled, feeling a quiet pride. Then I guess humans will keep.